Hello and welcome to Liberty Nation TV with your host, Jeff Charles. There has been an awful lot of stupid going on in American politics these days, from the monkeypox to AOC's arrest and David Hogg going hog wild for abortion. But what does Flyover country think of all this? Well, we'll find out. I have with me Liberty Nation's national columnist and Flyover County expert, Sarah Cowgill, to discuss. Welcome to the program, Sarah.
Well, thanks for having me, Jeff. Another fun time with you is to be had.
Yeah, this is going to be great. And since I don't live in Flyover country, I have you to talk to about these things. But to start with, though, I want to talk about this whole monkeypox thing. I mean, this started up like a few weeks ago or whatever. What is this? Are they trying to make this into another pandemic that they can exploit, or is this like a real thing, or what's going on here?
The problem with this particular virus is that it's transmitted primarily through gay sexual encounters or gay closeness, not necessarily sex, but transfer of body fluid. So it's going to be really hard to try to scare the bejesus out of straight folks or people that are not into that lifestyle. So I don't think they're going to get a lot of leverage. What they've been trying to do is change the narrative. People are saying, but it's not a gay disease. It can happen to anybody. It can happen to anybody in close contact.
So what do you think that they're trying to do with this thing? Because it doesn't really seem all that compelling to me, honestly. And maybe I haven't dug into it enough. I mean, are they just trying to throw something against the wall to see if it'll stick with this monkeypox thing? Or what do you think is going on here?
Well, to give credit where due, it was never outside of the continent of Africa until now. And so some people are blaming open borders, that people are just cruising around carrying the virus and then spreading it, and then it spreads and spreads and spreads. Out of 14,000 cases, that are a little bit more than that, 2,100 are in the United States. And that's not a pandemic. It's not overwhelmingly terrifying. But what it is where all of a sudden, why is this a problem in a country that has never had this problem? So that's what you're seeing being pushed by the anti-open borders crowd. Mm-hmm. The other crowd is going, yeah, nothing to see here until we can use it to scare somebody. I don't even know if that's going to be a factor. It certainly is not going to be a factor around here.
It doesn't seem all that scary to me yet. But you know what is scary? Getting arrested at an abortion protest like AOC. I mean, when she was filmed walking with police officers with her hands behind her back, but no handcuffs. What was this about? I mean, was she really fooling anybody in Flyover country, or was she fooling anybody at all? I mean, what do they make? What do Flyover folks make of that whole situation?
Well, number one, they don't like her.
Right.
They will they will talk about how pretty she is and how, they don't like her politics. Nobody around here is going to like her politics. And they know that she is the queen of the photo ops. She went down to the border, and some random fence in a parking lot not near the border, she faked a photograph there of her just tragically crying on the fence for all the poor people behind the fence. That didn't happen any more than hands behind the back, I'm in handcuffs happened. It's all about optics with her. And if she can convince 5 people that, she was arrested for the cause, just like she was terrified and hiding under her desk during the January 6th protests, where she wasn't even in the same building where it happened. So she's an opportunist. She makes Ringling Brothers look like they might be, they didn't go to the same marketing school that she did. She's good at it, but the problem is with so much media out there, they're going to uncover her.
So here's my question. I mean, I know people in Flyover country and in red states, they don't like her politics. They don't agree with her. But do they take her, or even not just her, like the rest of the squad? I mean, do they take these people seriously, or how do they view them?
Yes, they do take them seriously. They can't really do anything about them since they are not anywhere in our orbit of a political decision-making process. You can't vote AOC out. If you live in Indiana or Ohio, you can't vote any of them out. You can rail at them and say, why are you people electing these people? But you can't do anything about it. Politics are very radical. And so when you have somebody that makes the news and is always out there clanging that bell and giving people, the little twinge in the back of their neck, saying something ain't right here, that's going to be a problem. But we can't do anything about it. Therefore, what people do in flyover states, conservatives do, libertarians do, they tend to just cement their own base. They worry more about local people. That's your quality of life people. If we get the right people in, then they will go to Washington and take care of things for us. So that's kind of the way a red state mentality works.
Right. I mean, like you vote people in who can kind of counteract the agenda that
exactly
are trying to push. That makes sense. So in the next episode of Stupid, we have David Hogg going to an abortion rally. Now, isn't his usual shtick going after gun rights? I mean, what's he talking about abortion for? Is he trying to branch out, or what is this just worth? What is going on here, Sarah? I don't get it. Like, everything's topsy-turvy.
He had a heck of a week. He was at an abortion rights rally in DC, probably the same one where people were handcuffed, lest we say who they are. And he stood at the podium and shook his fist in the air. It was a little bit like Network, where you're leaning out the window saying, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. And he was like, well, I'm mad as hell and we're going to do something about it. And it's like, but pick an issue. Don't spread yourself so thin, David. And oh, by the way, David, your 15 minutes of fame were up a while ago, just saying. But then he not only was being over the top at the rally, then he accused white supremacists of being mass shooters. He doesn't get the connection of all the other things that people have been talking about. And then he barged into a congressional hearing and stood up and yelled and made all sorts of comments and was out of line, and they had to escort him out. So he had a heck of a week. You got to give him credit for that. But he just needs to go back home to wherever he calls home and stay put. He's annoying, and people in the red states, that's one name they don't want to hear.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that he was even venturing into abortion, because he doesn't even argue of his gun case very well. He's not very good.
He's never even talked about abortion before. So all of a sudden, this is probably getting a little more press than the guns are these days, and so he's all over it. And I'm going to get on camera again. I'm well known for, standing up for bullies with guns. I don't know what his thinking was, but it was misguided. He has nothing to do with this. If he was a girl from Parkland School, that might have been okay, but he wasn't. He's just David Hogg. He's trying to, get some more 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah, he wants those clicks. But here's my thing. Do these antics, like whether it's David Hogg or AOC or all these other people who pull these stunts, do you think they're actually persuading anybody, or is this just getting them more attention? Or, I mean, are they even effective?
They're not affecting anybody with a logical mind. They are, of course, their fan base, and I don't know how big of a fan base either one of them have, that just, they don't care. The fan base is like, oh, she was arrested, she was in handcuffs. People were yelling in her ear and blah, blah, blah. And with Hogg, I don't know. It's not, I don't see where they're going with any of this. And they're not going to sway the logical thinker that knows and searches out, all sides to a story. They will, the people that love them and quote them and worship them are always going to be swayed and believe that exactly what either one of those people tell them or say in publicly is the absolute truth. It's not going to happen to the rest of the world, though.
Yeah, so basically they're just preaching to their own choir. They're only persuading people who already
pretty much
are with them anyway. So when it comes to the overall political landscape, I mean, we've got 2022 coming up and we're already talking about 2024. How are flyover folks viewing this, the whole entire political landscape? What are they looking at right now? What are they thinking is going to happen?
Most people in the red states or in flyover states see an easy victory for the midterms. Mm-hmm. And I never, ever believe that anything's cut and dried, 3 months out. Heck, I don't even know if it's cut and dried 3 days out. things change. There's always the October surprise that gets in the way, or you don't know what's going to happen. So you may have faith that with the economy and with the inflation and the gas prices and all of the things that have occurred in the last 2 years, you may have faith that people are logically going to vote pocketbook instead of, how they feel. But most liberals vote because they feel a certain way. Right. And most Republicans or libertarians vote because they back it up with their facts or statistics or instances. So you have the Roe v. Wade may be a big determiner with young people, may not, may be the same young people that go, yeah, but I can't fill my car up with gas and go anywhere. So you don't know until it gets really close down to the wire. The red state people, the Flyover folks, they're always going to think that they've got a shot at this. Right. And I don't, other than a real big swing in the finances of this country, I don't see a blue wave. I see a red wave.
Gotcha. So last question I want to ask you about this. When it comes to Flyover folks, we've been having this conversation and we've been writing about it at Liberty Nation, Trump and DeSantis. Which one do you think most Flyover people or folks, Flyover folks favor?
It's funny. I think they're split down the center. I've had, there's a good group of people that I tend to raise a glass with periodically at a bar called the Foxhole in Warren County, Indiana. And there's a lot of very smart people that come in there. There are military people, there are very highly educated people that come in there, along with your random rednecks and just people that don't care. But what they about split down evenly between them is, I love Trump, I love his policies, but we're worried about if we put him up there, if he's just going to be the target he was in 2020. DeSantis, on the other hand, he doesn't have that same, drive, that same force. So I think what you're seeing is people want, Trump's policies and feistiness somehow morphed into DeSantis's more clear, oratory and rhetoric. But if you had to pick, I think it's divided right down the center between the two of them.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how that turns out. I'm sure we'll be talking more about it. But until next time, thank you for joining the program, Sarah.
Anytime, Jeff.
And remember, this show is proudly sponsored by LibertyNation.com, where you can access podcasts, breaking news and analysis, and a range of biting and brilliant shows to whet your appetite for freedom and your fondness for the great American Constitution. Just go to LibertyNation.com on your browser or hit Rumble, YouTube, or check out our Liberty Nation News Roku channel. I'm Jeff Charles. Thanks for watching. This program is a production of LibertyNation.com, where truth is making a comeback.
We're doing it for real, really real. Liberty Nation.
And Jeff Charles, contributor for LibertyNation.com.
I think we're starting to make an impact. Liberty style, fight for freedom.
Maybe tracking polls sponsored by Liberty Nation for Thursday.
Mentioned by Dan Bongino, Rasmussen, Jordan Peterson, and others.
I can do it again if you want me to.
Cited in Mark Levin's American Marxism.
I think we're starting to make a really big impact. Get noticed. We're doing it. Rock on. I'm gone.